everyone, Backyard Farmer Pat here. I scored big time and I said, you know what? I need to bring you guys along. We have a whole lot of planting going on today. I scored some cassava sticks from my friend Lorraine, who she heard. I talked to her like probably a year ago and told her how much the only thing I have missing is cassava sticks. She actually got me some sticks. I scored some white yam bulbs, which we can actually plant this to grow our yams. Then I went to Publix and found a kind of potato I've never seen before. They're called Purple Splendor. The inside is actually a very dark purple, so I know these are packed in nutrients and I know they're going to be yummy. Also, in my pantry, my store-bought garlic started growing, so I'm going to show you how to plant this garlic. And finally, I have what is called Indian kale, or in Jamaica they call it Indian kale. In Jamaica we have this delicious dish. Actually, it's my absolute favorite soup. It's called pepper pot soup. And normally I grew up cooking pepper pot soup with callaloo, which is a very dark green leafy vegetable. But my friend Lorraine was telling me that Indian kale is actually what is used in the traditional pepper pot soup in Jamaica. So I'd never seen it before. It looks almost like an elephant ear, but I'm going to be planting this also. So first, let's talk about cassava. Most of you know cassava, aka yucca. It's actually a staple crop in West Africa, in Southeast Asia, and also in Latin America, and of course in the Caribbean. I grew up with cassava. My mom we would make boiled dumpling with cassava, adding cassava. She would make our own fresh bami. And of course, up here, for those of you who love your pollo tropical, I'm sure all of you have had your delicious yucca fries or your yucca cooked up with garlic and oil. So there's a ton of that can be done with cassava. It's a very good starchy root crop that is high density but high in nutrition. I believe cassava actually has vitamin A, vitamin C. I believe it has some vitamin B, and the leaves actually has some protein. But however, with the leaves you have to be very careful, since they have to be cooked. You cook them similar to how you cook spinach, but whereas with spinach you can have it without cooking it. Cassava leaves are actually toxic if you don't cook it. Same as a root, you have to cook it to get rid of, I think, some cyanide that's in it. But they're full of protein and they're fully edible. All right, so next, after we do our cassava, look what I got. I got these tubers from white yam. So us that grew up in the Caribbean or even in Africa and other parts of the world, white yam, we know our white yam and yellow yam, not to be mistaken by American yams, which are considered sweet potatoes. These are not sweet potatoes. These are actually a very starchy white yam that we have in the islands. So my friend Lorraine, she gave me these bulbs. White yam actually grows as a vine. I didn't know that, but it actually grows as a vine, and these bulbs actually hang off the vine. Normally these bulbs can just drop on the ground and grow on its own. So she gave me several bulbs that I'm gonna plant in the ground. Each of these yams is gonna become a nice big white yam that we can eat, we can share, we can freeze some. It's gonna be yummy. Next, we're gonna plant our garlic, and these are just a normal garlic, a organic garlic, and these were obviously not sprayed to inhibit growth, thank God. So I'm going to be able to plug this garlic right in the ground and have my own garlic. For everything I'm growing here today, I'm not going to use any special fertilizers. What I'm actually doing is I just harvested some sweet potatoes and some other stuff, so I'm actually going to reuse the soil. When I think about it, cassava and white yams, these are grown in certain regions in Africa, as I said, in the Caribbean, where they can also grow in very tropical and arid conditions. So I'm going to use the soil that I have now. I'm going to refresh it by adding some Kellogg's potting soil and garden soil mix, just to refresh it and give it some additional nutrients. I actually turned over the soil when I took out the other crops, and I see a lot of earthworms, and the soil really does still look very fresh. I did mix in a little peat moss. What peat moss does is it helps it to retain the moisture. Cassava and yams can take anywhere from 8 months to a year to grow. They grow better, of course, in good moist soil. If the soil is very, very arid or very dry, it can take even longer to grow. So these are long-term crops. I'm going to plant them now. I'm going to plant them in pots, and it's going to take anywhere from 8 months to a year to grow. The potatoes, I'm not 100% sure if these will germinate. As I said, it was my first time seeing purple potatoes. Here in South Florida, we don't do very well with potatoes, and of course, this might be a special kind, but you know what? It doesn't hurt to try. The whole bag of potatoes cost maybe $4 at Publix, and I took three potatoes out. So maybe these potatoes are worth less than $1. So it's always fun to grow things. If it doesn't work, you know, that's okay. And then finally, I gave away a ton of my purple sweet potato slips, and there were a couple that were sitting around that I still had left. So I'm gonna plant that next. So let's walk over. Oh, one thing I wanted to tell you about cassava. Cassava is fascinating. So as I said, it grows based on the stick. This is the only way you can grow cassava, based on the cutting. So when you plant a cassava stick, you plant no more than maybe 8 inches to a foot. So this piece, I'm probably gonna just cut it in 2 pieces. Same for this piece. So if you look very closely, it's very important that you plant cassava stick in the right direction, right? So you know which way is up based on where you get very close. Each of these nodules can become roots, right? And you know which way is up by looking at to see where has the little green on top. You see that little green coming up? That's going to be a leaf. So you know that has to point up. See another one right here? You know that has to point up. So when I'm planting my sticks, I want to be sure that I don't plant it upside down with the leaves going down. I want to plant it this way up. And of course, on the top, I actually had this just resting in dirt, waiting to do this video, and this already started growing, so this is awesome. So this is gonna be, I think I can actually grow 3 pieces. I think I can get 3 pieces from this one. Gonna cut this into 3. I'll cut this in 2. And because you guys are so wonderful, I'm gonna give a very special subscriber a piece of cassava stick so you too can grow your cassava. So see, it's a good thing you listened in today. I'm gonna give the first person that calls in, I'm gonna give them, you know what, the first 2 people that call in, or not calling, that contact me, leave a message in Instagram, or you can leave a message on YouTube or on Facebook if we're friends on Facebook. And I'll give, so I have 2 cassava slips I'm gonna give away, and maybe even one of these potatoes. Not potatoes, one of these white yams. All right, so let's take a break, let's walk over and let's start planting. Come on. All right, here we go. All right, so I cut my my cassava, and I'm gonna actually put them in this big pot because that's gonna give each cassava space to grow really big. Ideally, I should only have 2 in this pot, but you know what? This is what I have, so this is what I'm gonna use. I put a ton of soil in here. I mixed. There's a little I didn't add cow manure, but I added my Kellogg's garden mix and some peat moss, as well as some of the old soil. So it's very easy. You just slide it all the way down and leave a couple inches on top. Same thing here. I'm checking to see which way is up. This way is up. I'm gonna slide it all the way down. It's gonna form its roots. Perfect. And then there are gonna be more leaves coming from the side. Same thing here. This way is up. Yep. I'm gonna slide this one all the way down. You just push. It's very sturdy. Don't have to worry about killing it. Actually, these 2 are too close. Let's put this one here. All right. So cassava, as I said, takes anywhere from 8 months to a year, but it's really, the leaves are very beautiful when it starts to grow. You can see what the leaves are gonna look like. So it's a nice pot. Actually, it's a nice wash tub. So this is gonna be very pretty once it grows. Always be sure to add your little label with the date that you planted it. So next year, maybe late summer, I'll pull this up. Cassava needs warm climate. It's a tropical plant. it needs a warm climate to grow best. So this will do very well in South Florida. Of course, with all of these, when I'm done, I'm gonna go through and give them a good soaking. But you don't have to keep cassava very wet. Good, rich, moist soil is good enough. Next, we're gonna do our purple splendor, which are regular potatoes. So when you're planting any kind of regular potato, you look for the little thing, the little knob or belly button you call it, at the bottom where the plant, where it was first connected to the plant, and that goes down. So here, I only have like maybe 5 or 6 inches of soil. Here's the knob. This one I had actually cut in two because it had a couple chits on it. And here's the knob at the bottom. So I'm gonna plant this down. I am hoping, this is just an experiment because I've never planted this. I'm really hoping this works out. With potatoes, I know that what you're supposed to do is only add a few inches, like 4 or 5 inches at the bottom. Then I'm gonna build up and put like 5 inches of dirt here. And then what's gonna happen is the potatoes will grow all the way through, and then it's gonna form some roots here, and from the roots of the top 6 inches, that's where the potatoes will grow, right? So let's pause for a second and I'm gonna fill this in. All right, so I finished covering up my purple splendor. I added like another 5 inches of soil to give it space for the potatoes to grow. God willing, they will grow. Next, we're gonna do our white yams. And I have a big bag, same soil. It has a little perlite in it. You can see it's very loose and it's super moist. It's perfect, actually perfect. So I'm gonna plant maybe 3 or 4 in here. You can see this one already has its roots. I'm just gonna rest it on top. Rest them on top like this. And I have like a few extra, and that's for you guys. If you guys call in or if you guys send me a message, I'll have a couple extra tubers to give you. So let's just now cover these with soil so that they will grow. After you cover everything with soil, be sure to go back in and add a layer of mulch. If you don't want to buy mulch, always use natural mulch. Don't buy anything that has dyes in it. Don't buy that pretty red one you see at Home Depot and Lowe's. Don't buy that stuff. That stuff has dyes and chemicals. Buy the one that says all natural. Or if you have a garden that is full of leaves, you can actually use your leaves. So for all of these, add a layer of like 2 inches of mulch on everything. Water it well, add a layer of mulch, and that will keep the moisture in. So this is ready. Look at that soil, it's beautiful. I already did my Indian kale because you guys know you just stick it in the ground. There were 2 in there. I separated them and I have my Indian kale. Next, we're gonna do the garlic. And the way you do this is, first of all, you do not strip the white layer that's on it. You leave the white layer on, and then the part with the green points up. So it's really easy. You just stick them in. Garlic can be planted close to each other. You don't have to worry about spacing them out. So I'm gonna have a whole lot of garlic in here. I'm spacing them out maybe 4 inches. 4 inches is fine. So I'm gonna plant my garlic. The wonderful thing about garlic is that the green part, once it starts growing, the leaves are gonna look almost like scallion or green onions, and that's edible. It tastes like garlic, just like onion leaves taste like onions and garlic leaves taste like garlic. And ginger leaves taste like ginger. Same thing with the garlic leaves. Once they start growing, you can add them to your stir fries. And the garlic it's as easy as that. So we're all planted out. All I have left is the sweet potatoes, but you guys can go back and watch my first 2 videos on sweet potato tips. I'm just gonna plant the sweet potatoes out, and then I'm done. Gonna add my mulch, and I'm good to go. So till next time, let's plant, grow, and eat together. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe and share this video. Please follow me on Instagram and on YouTube so you can see my next video. Instagram, I always add a lot of pictures. As a matter of fact, I have an incredible update I'm about to post. It's gonna blow you guys' mind, but The video isn't long enough to put on YouTube, so I'll just add it to Instagram. So be sure to follow me on Instagram too. Till next time.